I'm Washayla Sananda. Thank you for joining me. Today, I am going to talk about a big topic, the biggest question I think that we ask as humanity. It's been coming up all over the place the last couple of weeks. So I feel like when I tuned in and I asked, what is the topic for today? How can I serve in the greatest way? This is the question that came up, and it's, what's the point? What is the purpose? Why are we here? And that's a big one. And of course, each of us as individuals will need to do some introspection on that personally. But I want to break it down into kind of an understandable three-part answer. And of course, this is from my perspective. You might have a different perspective, and I invite you to, share that, discuss that in the comments. I am always open to other people's perspectives, and I do not think that I have all of the answers and all of the right things to say. But I'm going to give you what I think about this topic. So, first of all, there are three levels of our presence here. And one is for our personal level. This is the personality. This is our karmic reasons. We come here with lessons that we wanted to learn. So we are going to have pre-incarnational agreements. We've set things up before we come. We will meet certain people or attract certain situations to help us work through certain issues that come in with us as patterns in our field. And when we have karmic patterns in our field, and when I'm talking about our field, I mean our morphogenetic field, the patterns that inform the physical. They're energetic patterns. They inform our physical body. And when we don't resolve them in a certain lifetime, or when we create a big karmic pattern from, maybe we did something horrible, maybe we murdered someone, or it could be, a lot of different things. It doesn't have to be murder, but maybe we did something to create a distortion in our field. And if we did not resolve that during the lifetime that it happened, then it's very likely to come in to be resolved in another lifetime. Now, I do believe that sometimes these patterns can be resolved in the non-physical, but oftentimes as a soul progresses through its lifetimes, it's conducive to have these challenges, patterns, and issues come up, be worked through so that we gain understanding, compassion, so that we develop as a soul. And notice I'm sharing all of this in non-judgment. So if you feel like you have some karmic issues that you're here resolving, it's always good to be introspective, but not judgmental about them or about anybody else's patterns that they're working through. The best thing that you can do on a personal level is to get to that point of really deeply looking at the things that are repeating patterns in your life. Do you keep attracting certain issues, certain people, certain types of relationships that are challenging you in a major way? And if so, that's a karmic pattern, a pattern in your field that you came in with to resolve. Or, the possibility might be that you created it as a child. Oftentimes those things happen when we're children that are already in our field, because children, we can think that children come in innocent, and in their fresh new life, they are. However, oftentimes a child will come in with a multitude of previous lifetimes and previous experiences and karmic patterns to resolve in order to have soul growth. So they might come in pure and as a new human, but not necessarily clear of karma. So that's one of the reasons. And honestly, to really deeply look at what your challenges are, get present to them, look at the repeating patterns, look at, okay, what is it that I'm denying, ignoring, not admitting, not wanting to take responsibility for, not wanting to be responsible for in my life? What are those things? And when you really deep dive into those things, that's what can shift everything for you and actually lead you to correcting that karmic pattern, to correcting that pattern in your field so that you can complete it. And then you no longer have to live lifetime after lifetime with that pattern of karma, and you can move on to the next level of your progression as an individual, as a collective, as a being, as a higher self, as an oversoul, all of you, the whole collective of you, all of your lifetimes, past, present, and future, simultaneously, when you relieve yourself of a karmic pattern, all of you progresses. So it's really great work to do. And it works on multiple dimensions of reality when you work through your issues. So it's always of value. And these issues that we have, they're not an accident. It's not because you're a bad person if you keep having challenges or major things that upset you in your life. It's a opportunity to, hey, you've got a karmic pattern repeating in your life. Here's an opportunity to resolve that. So really be willing to look at, okay, where am I trying to be right about something? Where am I holding on to old beliefs? Where am I not willing to reprogram myself, not willing to resolve this issue? And then really dig in and let yourself feel it and experience it, and let yourself know, okay, do I want to hold on to this? And do I want to keep trying to be right or being a victim of my circumstances? No, I would rather resolve this, stop being a victim, make amends, take responsibility, make apologies, whatever it is that you need to do. It's going to be different for each individual, but figure out what are the things that you need to do to clear this pattern and this issue. Take the action that's related to it. And then you're going to be able to resolve it, and you're going to feel that resolve within you. Whenever I've cleared karmic patterns from my being, from my body, from my energy field, I feel lighter. I feel a new level of freedom. I feel an expansion, and it feels really good. And it's so worth it. It's so worth it that I love when something comes up that I get to work through and clear from my field, because it just makes me feel so much more light and free. And that brings more happiness, more joy, more prosperity, more love, more connection into my life. It's of great value to do this work. So that's number one. Number two is you can think of it as your higher self and your soul collective, like your immediate family of soul collective. So your soul family has a mission here. And this, just to simplify this, a lot of people are going to share this in different ways. I have a tendency to kind of make things easy to understand and simplified. We don't need to make it complicated. So you can think of it like this. Your immediate soul circle might be like 12 souls, 12 personalities that are connected to your higher self or oversoul. So you could think of this collective of souls, and some of them are going to be incarnate now. Many are not in this lifetime, this experience. Many are going to be on the other side, having other experiences guiding you. But you could think of it as a collective of 12 beings, consciousness, personalities that are working together. And so sometimes there will be things that seem like suddenly you're feeling kind of a certain way. This happens a lot with sadness, grief, anger, like a huge wave of emotion will come in, or you'll just get present to it. You'll feel it and you'll be like, wow, I'm really feeling this, but I don't feel like it's necessarily related to anything going on in my life or that's even mine, but I'm feeling it and it's in me. So it must have something to do with me, right? Empathically, we could pick things up. Sometimes that's from the whole human collective, but sometimes it's from the soul collective, your soul group. So the best thing you can do then is to really deeply feel and allow it, like let yourself feel it, let it clear, breathe, let yourself feel it, let it clear, whatever it's attached to, let it clear. Your soul group is going to have various missions, various challenges. Sometimes they're going to throw things into your reality or people that will either challenge you or bring great opportunity to you. And for the sake of the collective of your soul group, having an experience to forward your knowledge, your understanding, your soul growth, your higher self receives this expansion, and you get to, as a collective, have a growth experience as a soul. And so what helps here is to, whenever you're dealing with something, to sort of take a step out. Sometimes it's obvious that something you're dealing with is yours. It came directly from something in your life, an experience you had. Even then, you can kind of expand your vision and zoom out, in a sense. If you watched my video from last week, I talk about not being able to see the forest through the trees, and the trees are, when you're in the forest, they're right there. You can't really see as clearly. So you zoom out, stand on a hill, and then you zoom out again, you're in an airplane. So you get a bigger picture. So it helps in this situation when challenges are up for you to expand your awareness, your vision, your experience of reality to, what might this be connected to at a higher level of my being part of a collective of 12 souls. And you're part of many more than 12 souls. I'm just using that as an example to simplify it. You're also part of 144. You're part of a galactic family. You're part of many soul groups. So when you expand out, there's a collective that that you could be processing an experience or a growth or transformation as part of your service to this higher aspect of yourself. So it's sometimes, this will happen where people will tell me, I have no idea what this is connected to in my life, or I'm processing some sort of trauma, but I've done regression and I can't find anything it's connected to. That's okay, because sometimes it's a different part of your consciousness, a higher or an expanded part, or another, maybe there was some other personality within your soul group that you're working through something for, or it could be for humanity as a collective. Sometimes you're processing things through. And so again, it's not necessary to get attached to the what, but just to be willing. And this is a higher service. They're not going to give you something to deal with for the collective if you haven't done a lot of your own personal work. It's actually a great service to the collective to be able to process things through and expand. This is when you've done a lot of personal work. You've done a lot of spiritual work. You've done a lot of work on letting go of your traumas, on ascending already. So you're going to start to get collective issues to work through. And it's a beautiful thing and a great service to be able to do this. To expand your perspective, you're like, go into the allowing yourself to clear for the higher level of your being. And you'll start to feel new levels of freedom, like great new levels of freedom around this as well. I had an issue come up the other day where I witnessed a car accident. I was with my son. We were going to pick up takeout food, and we were we had just turned a corner and we were turning into the restaurant, and literally in the intersection that we were in, a split second before, there was a huge car crash. One car went rolling. I mean, sure, there were injuries. There were many people at a restaurant coming out, taking care of those people. So, I didn't find it necessary to go there. It was across the street, but it scared me, right? I started to process layers of trauma of car accidents that I myself have been in, of car accidents that my immediate family has been in, of losing people, family members and friends to vehicle accidents, of the traumas. I started to really fill up with that and realize and process through that. And so I had processing to do when I got home from that. The most thing I had was gratitude for not being involved in it personally. The expansion that I got from witnessing that was massive. And so the next morning when I took my son to school, I felt, after I dropped him off, I really felt that heaviness coming up again, a new level to be cleared. And the heaviness of what if that had been us? All kinds of what ifs could come up right from that. So I went right into my connection to Central Sun, which to me is the beloved source of all light in our multiverse. And I felt that connection in my heart, and I felt it expand and expand. I felt my Merkaba body, my light vehicle, expand out around me. I'm driving my car at this time while I'm processing all of this. So I felt that Merkaba vehicle around my physical vehicle of my car. And then I felt it all release and clear from my field. And I just felt this beautiful connection. And what I understood then is, okay, I've done the clearing work. I've done the clearing work for my personal self. I've done the clearing work for my lineage. I've done the clearing work for my soul group. Now I'm clearing on a bigger level by going straight into Central Sun and allowing that to inform my experience of being. Then I'm beaming that out to all of the vehicles around me. I'm feeling the protection, the total protection of my life, knowing I am safe. I'm being, I am safe. I'm living, I am safe as a knowingness, and just feeling my total love and support and protection within this knowingness that I'm always safe. I am always connected to source. It doesn't matter even what happens to this physical body. I am always safe, connected, protected, loved, supported, and cherished. And so that work that I did cleared on so many levels. I could feel it. And then I was grateful that I'd witnessed what I had witnessed, so many levels of gratitude. And then that also brought me to more gratitude for my health and my well-being, the health of my son and my children, the health of my family, the wellness of all of my relations, and the connectedness that brought me to was very expanded. So this is one example of how we can transmute and alchemize the energy of the moment from fear to expansion and clarity and love and connection. And this is available to us in every moment when we're doing this work. And so that really brings me to the third aspect of this, which is the collective. The purpose of us being here, when we go to the level of ourselves as a collective, the collective of humanity, but beyond that, the collective of life itself. What is the purpose for experiencing life? Because life wants to experience more life. There's the nothingness, which becomes aware of itself, which then wants to know itself. So at that very core level, it's about the desire to know self and to know self more. So all of our experiences here, positive, negative, good, bad, all of the polarities aside, It's for soul growth. It's for knowing life, knowing more life learning and expanding. And every experience that we have, every contemplation that we get into, every relationship that we experience and enjoy is part of that expansion, part of that knowing, part of that growing. The more life we experience, the more things that we experience within our lives, the more we're contributing to the whole, the total source, learning, growing, expanding. And that is a huge point of why we are here. Many people choose to experience suffering. However, suffering is a choice. Challenges generally are not a choice. Challenges are going to come up, but how you perceive your challenges is a choice. Whether you hang out in suffering or whether you move to transformation is an internal, personal choice. We do not have to suffer. We will have challenges, but we do not have to suffer. So to wrap all of this up today, the ultimate reason for why we're here, soul growth, source expansion, getting to know life more and experience more life. Many levels of that are on a physical level. We come from non-physical to experience physical. We can experience things in physical bodies that we cannot experience when we don't have physical bodies. We get to experience touch and relationships and love in a physical way that doesn't exist in a non-physical reality. We get to experience eating and food and all different types of human physical experiences that many of us came for that purpose. Some people came to experience food. Some people came to experience parties and vacations and travel, and there's a worthy cause for that. That's kind of on a personality level, but it's a worthy cause, a worthy reason to be here. And within that, if you can bring that to service, if you can find kindness and love and servitude in your life, then you're going to connect to greater purpose. And that connection to greater purpose will cause soul growth and expansion. So if I can leave you with one thing, it would be find your joy and find a way to serve others in that joy. And that will expand you as a being on so many different levels. Thank you for listening today. I love you. I cherish you. Please do leave me feedback. What did you get from this? And also let me know, what would you like to hear from me in the future? Do you have a question that I could maybe answer for you in a video? I love to see your questions, and oftentimes I do work those into my videos. So thank you for listening. Namaste.